guys, welcome back to my channel, and for today's video I will be doing a battle of the eyeshadows. Now, as you can tell from the title of this video, it is going to be, well, the Berries by Juvia's palette, which is this very pink, hot pink kind of color story right here. And I know that you're gonna say like, hey, I'm comparing this to the Snapshadow number 4 by Fenty. Now, here's the thing. So, before anyone gets to me, the reason why I got these two specifically was because, one, in my short amount of research while I was looking for a dupe for this one, I realized that this one had the closest color story. You're gonna say like, hey, there's a couple of shadows that don't really match, per se, the palette. But when it comes to this matte and these two metallic shadows, they are pretty much the same as the ones in here. And again, the color story isn't completely the same. This one is much, much deeper. And from my experience in YouTube, I've been told plenty of times that the Juvia's palette pigmentation in eyeshadow is like out of this world. And again, to keep in mind that the purpose of each eyeshadow is completely the same. I mean, the point of the Snapshadow is to like have an eyeshadow on the go and to be able to snap it to another one and have like kind of like a full palette on the go, and then you have this, you know, regular palette. Now the thing is that, one, they have the same color story, and two, this one is 14 bucks and this one is 25. So this is where I want to measure, like, can you give up a little the color story for a cheaper price for literally almost half the price and get good or even better pigmentation and somewhat the same color story? You know, now we're home. Now we are only gonna focus, well, that's my thinking, like now you're just gonna focus on color and the quality of what you're getting, because let's face it, we're not going anywhere. So if you want to see how these two match up each other and which one is better, then just keep watching. So on this eye, I'm gonna do the Berries by Juvia's, and on this side, we're gonna do the Snapshadow. Now, I'm gonna try to make somewhat, you know, kind of the same eyeshadow, but before even doing that, I'm just gonna show you like a little swatches. So I'm gonna show you the shades that look exactly like the Fenty palette, and then I'm gonna show you the other ones just because I want to show you guys the pigmentation and whatnot, right? So this is the matte. Pretty solid pigmentation, right? Now I'm gonna pick this one here. They don't have names. That's something that I'm kind of icky about, but it's okay. And then this one goes here. Now, something that I do like about this is like how it's kind of like duochromatic. I don't think you can see it in here. I'm gonna try to input, you know, proper swatches, let's say, if I do have time after this. And I'm gonna do this one next. Now, this is really good, smooth metallics. Like, I didn't have to try it all to get that pigmentation, so that's really, really nice. From touching it and whatnot, I can tell that the mattes aren't powdery at all, so that's a really good thing, because I don't like when mattes give me such a hard time. Wow, I thought that was gonna apply patchy, and it didn't. That's amazing. And I'm gonna go over to this one. This is the only color that I'm not like 100% crazy about. I just don't see how I would be using such a like powerful pink, but so good so far. And then I really like this berry purpley shadow. That one's a little bit, maybe a little bit patchy, but then again, it's never the same. It's never the same. This is just a test. We're just gonna try that in the rundown. Okay, so now I'm gonna try the Fenty so that you can get. So the cool thing about the Fenty one is that they're not insanely pigmented, but they're so blendable. That's something that I really, really love about this palette. It's just easy. The colors aren't like insane or like, you know, deep like this one. So it's really easy to work with this palette. I say that these palettes are more user-friendly, beginner-friendly, because they blend so well and they're like so light that it's not really hard to get around them. That's something that I really, really like. Now, I'm okay with these pinks. It's nothing that I have against them, but that's something that I wanted to say. It's something that I truly like about this. I love this pink shade. It's really nice as a transition shade, and you can barely see it because it's a transition shade, but it's a really nice pink. And I'm gonna try this one, which is the one that the other one looks like. See how my body-mind coordination sucks. So I'm just gonna do my best here. So they do match pretty well, as you can see. They do match pretty well. I'm gonna go and then use this deeper shade. This is the only sad thing, that this is the deeper shade. and it's kind of more on the brown side rather than purpley. It kind of has like a teeny tiny purpley undertone, but more so brown. And so this is just gonna look slightly different, but I'm okay with this. For $11 less and more eyeshadow, I'm okay with that. And then I'm gonna go through the metallics. I'm gonna go through this one that looks a lot like this one. Wait, yeah, this one. Yeah. Oh wow, oh wow. I think I took a little too much. But yeah, as you can see, the pigment isn't crazy. Like if you try to measure these two, the pigment isn't crazy when it comes to this one. I'm gonna actually swatch this one. And again, when you touch it too much, it becomes a little crumbly. See how they kind of look the same, but this is more metallic, more buttery smooth. I do like that this is more somewhat duochromatic, like kind of like orangey and pink. I do love that a lot, but that's how the shades measure up together. Oh wow, this is sucky. This is a sucky swatch, but that's what I got. And then my favorite shade of this palette is honestly this one. This is such a beautiful pinky glitter shade. Well, I'm just gonna do a clean finger. I'm gonna put this all over. This is delicious. Now, this is like a delicious glitter, you know, kind of soft, smooth glitter that you can glide all over your eye. It's super glittery, super beautiful. See, you can see how reflective it can be. I really, really like that. It's truly beautiful. Now, another thing that I do want to go by before I test these on my eyes is that something else that aside from obvious size, I wanted to say like the actual weight of the eyeshadows. So for the Fenty, you get 0.035 ounces per eyeshadow, which is amazing. And for this one, you get 0.47. So, you know, the change in size is pretty decent, and the different in prices look amazing. So I'm just gonna honestly speed through the process of doing my eyes just for the sake of the longevity of this video, and then I'm gonna tell you guys, you know, my final thoughts and which one wins the battle. Okay, so now that I've done both eyes, you can kind of get a feel of how both eyeshadows work. So as you could see, like I had to go really, really light with the mattes because they were so pigmented that I had to like build them up, you know, use them little by little so that I wouldn't over apply. I would say that the mattes for the Juvias, you know, the Berries palette, I think that either you have to know how to use them really well, or if you're not really experienced with blending very pigmented eyeshadows, I would really stay away from them because they're very pigmented, like insanely. I had to like slightly dip my brush in there and like really tap it out so that I could like, you know, build up. I'm the kind of person that kind of builds up the color rather than, you know, put in the harsh color and then blend it out. Then it depends on the strategy that you use, but for me, that's the way that it kind of works best. So yeah, in terms of the blending, they blend out really well, don't get me wrong, but you do have to go on a lighter hand so that it applies more seamlessly. Now when it comes to the shimmers, they're so beautiful, they're so intense. Like the moment I applied them, I fell in love because they're so, you know, true and pigmented, and like my eyes look so sultry because everything is so like well blended, it's so deep, it's so, you know, it's intense. I like it, but it's intense but like nicely blended, so it looks really, really nice. I am honestly like in love with this look. However, I was not a fan of having to be so, you know, like careful with the matte. Like that's definitely not me. I'm more of like the careless kind of eyeshadow player. Like that's why I do like a lot about the Fenty one. You know, I can be very careless. I can just like apply things, not very like, well, yeah, careful. Now, when it comes to the Fenty, I'm not a fan of this eyeshadow. Well, swatching, this looked really, really nice. It wasn't that pigmented. It's more so like the matte with a bunch of shimmers, but the shimmers, you can barely see them. So I literally had to go through over with this one. And then I just saw how this one worked, and I just love it because I love how scattered lights, like it just looks like scattered glitter, and I really do like that. Now, this one has a lot more fallout. Like if you could see from up close, a lot of the glitter fell through on my face, so that was kind of like a turn off. But again, something that I truly, truly enjoy about this palette is I don't have to be careful at all. I can just, you know, like dip in my brush, blend out as I wish, and I don't have to care so much about how I'm placing it or anything because it's so lightly pigmented. Like it's like the right balance. At least for me, it's the right balance because you don't have to try so hard. Now, if we are talking about pigmentation, the Juvia's palette is a total kicker. Like it's insane amount of pigmentation. Like it's disturbing, honestly, amount of pigmentation. Like I am truly in love with the palette. It's definitely something that if I want to go out and I want to go, you know, all in, I think, you know, this is the kind of look that I would go for. Maybe I would apply like some scattered light on top of this, but again, I'm just talking about how I would use both palettes. Now, this is one more so that I would use, you know, again, something more of the day-to-day, you know, it's less intense. Not that I tend to use eyeshadow on the day-to-day, well, not anymore at least. This is definitely much more wearable, more on the easier side. It's not intense. You can definitely create some impactful looks, but you would definitely need some help from other palettes. As well from the Juvia's palette, I don't feel like it's complete. Like this one is a complete palette, like the Fenty Beauty. How can I say? You can't go really deep with these, but you can definitely build up a whole look because I can't actually do the inner corner with this because it's like a glitter. However, there's no highlighter here, as well as on the Juvia's palette, there's no highlighter there. So you would definitely need something else. I will apply like matte highlighter here so that I can, you know, have something on. But that's definitely something to point out. These are not complete palettes. They definitely have to go along with something else just to like do complete that look perfectly. But other than that, well, it's such a hard pick. So I'm just gonna, you know, finish doing my eyes and I'll just, you know, give you my final winner once I'm like done and have sunk in them both eye looks. And yeah. Hey guys, so for the final round of, okay, so, oh, this hurts so much because I do want to pick the one that's more of the bang for my buck because it's cheaper and it's bigger, but, I think I'll go for the Fenty, like, overall. It hurts so much because I always, the purpose of this, you know, of this, battle is to prove that you don't need to go, you know, for the really high end, or maybe like part of this is kind of like to show that you don't really need to go for the high end to get like a true quality palette. And honestly, this proves it all. This truly does because, again, the quality, like I definitely prefer this eye look than this one because it looks much more put together. You know what? I'm gonna tell you something. Okay, for color story, for being able to use it all, definitely I like this eye better. I'm at a loss. I don't know what to do. God, I'm whatever. Don't don't judge me. I'll go with the Fenty. You know why? Because I love the fact that I don't have to be careful at all with this palette. I can just put on any shade and I can just blend it out really smoothly. I also like the fact that this has a mirror. I didn't mention that, but the Juvia's palette does not have a mirror, and I do like the mirror. But yeah, you guys, let me know what you think. Let me know, who do you think should be the winner? Like, in your experience, or just looking at these two eye looks and just looking at how the eyeshadows perform, like which one do you think should be the winner? Should it be Juvia's or should it be Fenty? Like, which one would you pick? So that is it for today, you guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you found this video really helpful in terms of like choosing, you know, which palette to buy. Not that you would compare both of them necessarily, but I hope that you found this video insightful and helpful when choosing a palette. And yeah, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!